The tires skidded on the frozen road as Officer Mason jammed the brakes. Suddenly, a German shepherd emerged, yapping fiercely, its gaze blazing with urgency. Mason's pulse quickened. What was it trying to convey? What he discovered soon after left him completely stunned and profoundly altered. Beyond the patrol car, the world was a hushed, snow-draped expanse. Officer Mason clutched the steering wheel, his breath clouding the glass. He'd traveled this path countless times, but today, the calm seemed unusual, strangely silent, almost too tranquil. Abruptly, a shadowy form erupted from the snow-laden trees on the road's right side. Officer Mason's foot hit the brakes, and the patrol car slid slightly on the slick surface. His heart pounded as the shape, a big German shepherd, dashed into the road's center, barking loudly and desperately. The dog's thick fur was sprinkled with snow, its breath forming mists in the frigid air. Its eyes met Mason's, wild with insistence. Mason's thoughts spun. Why was a dog out here alone in this storm? He eased open his door, stepping into the sharp chill. Snow crunched under his boots as he neared the dog, which held its ground, barking louder. The German shepherd's frame was tense, its tail rigid, as if begging Mason to follow. Mason paused, scanning the empty road. No vehicles, no homes nearby, just a vast wilderness cloaked in white. His gut told him to return to the car, but something in the dog's actions halted him. The German shepherd gave a piercing bark, turning and darting a few steps toward the trees, then stopping, glancing back as if urging, "Come on!" Mason's heartbeat raced. It was obvious the dog needed him to follow. Officer Mason wavered, torn between caution and the dog's evident distress. He tapped his radio, notifying dispatch of his position in this odd scenario. "This is Mason. I've got a stray German shepherd signaling me on Route 6. No trace of its owner, moving to check it out." His voice quivered slightly, revealing his nerves. He bent slightly, seeking the dog's gaze. "Hey, buddy," he called gently. "What's happening? What are you showing me?" But the dog didn't linger for a reply. It trotted a few paces into the trees, then paused and barked sharply, insistently. Mason glanced at his patrol car, unsure. This wasn't protocol, but the dog's intent was too clear to dismiss. His pulse thudded in his ears, the hairs on his neck rising. Standing, he pulled his flashlight and trailed the dog, stepping off the icy road into the snow-dusted brush. The dog's ears pricked, and it resumed its urgent guidance. Mason's breath hastened as he realized this wasn't just a stray dog. Something awaited discovery. The German shepherd moved with intent, threading through snow-heavy trees, its bark now quieter but still pressing. Mason trudged through deep drifts, striving to keep pace. His flashlight beam sliced the mist, lighting a faint path etched in the snow. It seemed as if someone or something had crossed here before. His breath came in quick bursts as he tried to match the dog's stride. His senses sharpened, each snap of a twig or crunch of snow jangling his nerves. Abruptly, the dog halted, head lowered, ears flicking. It sniffed the ground intently, paws scraping at the snow. Mason knelt, aiming his light at the spot. Faint footprints, nearly buried by fresh snow, led deeper into the forest. His pulse surged. Someone had been here. The dog's nose twitched, and it gave a low growl, glancing at Mason. Without awaiting a cue, it pressed on, guiding him forward. The trees pressed closer, the quiet broken only by the dog's soft whines and the occasional creak of snow-burdened branches. Mason's mind raced. Could this be a lost traveler, a stranded motorist? He'd heard tales of people vanishing in blizzards, but he'd never pictured facing this himself. They reached a small clearing where the snow was churned and disturbed. The dog sniffed rapidly at a snowbank near a tall tree's base. Mason's heart froze. A faint noise hit his ears, a weak, muffled sob. He dropped to his knees, sweeping snow away with gloved hands. Hang on!" he yelled, adrenaline surging through him. The dog whimpered beside him, its tail wagging fast. Someone was buried here, alive but fading. Mason's breath hitched as he scraped at the snow, his gloved hands trembling. The German shepherd clawed fiercely beside him, tossing white powder into the air. Beneath the ice and frost, a tiny hand appeared, pale and limp against the stark snow. Mason's heart jolted. He cleared more snow until the child's face emerged, blue-lipped, eyes barely moving. The child wore a thin coat, far too light for the cold. "Dispatch, this is Officer Mason," he snapped into his radio, voice cracking. "I found a child about 5 years old, buried under snow in a clearing off Route 6. Need urgent medical help. Child's unconscious but breathing." His hands shook as he felt for a pulse, relief flooding him at the faint, uneven beat. The dog barked sharply, nudging Mason's arm as if pushing him to hurry. Mason nodded, mind racing. He shed his thick coat and wrapped it around the child, holding the small, fragile form against his chest. "Stay with me, kid," he whispered, his breath misting the child's icy hair. He stood, stumbling slightly under the weight, driven by adrenaline and the dog's relentless urgency. Time was slipping away. The child's breaths were faint, the pulse fading. Without the dog's persistence, they'd never have found the child in time. Every moment mattered. Mason clenched his jaw as he pushed through the deep snow, clutching the child tightly. His boots sank into drifts, the icy wind slicing through his uniform. The German shepherd stayed by his side, barking urgently and casting worried glances back. Time felt heavy, each second critical. His radio crackled. "Officer Mason, paramedics en route. ETA 6 minutes. Can you reach the road?" "Trying," Mason panted, glancing at the barely breathing child. The dog's steady presence urged him on, its resolute gaze almost compelling him forward. Mason's muscles ached, his breath rough in the chill, but he wouldn't stop. The child's fragile life depended on him. The dog raced ahead, barking sharply, guiding Mason toward a gap in the trees. There he spotted the road through the swirling snow, a lifeline. "Almost there, little one," he murmured to the child, his voice soft. Suddenly, Mason's foot snagged a hidden root beneath the snow, sending him tumbling. He twisted to shield the child, landing hard on his side. The dog rushed to him, whining with concern. Gritting his teeth, Mason pushed up, arms aching from the child's weight. He couldn't stop here. With a final burst of strength, he followed the dog, reaching the road just as ambulance lights flashed through the storm. Paramedics rushed over, their voices sharp and urgent. Mason gently handed the child to their waiting arms, his hands shaking from effort and cold. "Found under a snowbank," he gasped, pulse weak but there. The paramedics moved fast, wrapping the child in warm blankets and giving oxygen. The German shepherd paced anxiously, ears flat and tail low, watching with worried eyes. Mason leaned against his patrol car, catching his breath as he watched the paramedics. A hand touched his shoulder, and he turned to see an EMT nodding. "Good work, officer. You and this dog saved a life today." The words sank in, but Mason couldn't look away from the child, who stirred slightly under the paramedics' care. A hint of color returned to the pale face, and the child gave a faint whimper. The German shepherd whined gently, its tension easing slightly. As the ambulance doors shut and the siren wailed away, Mason knelt beside the dog, draping an arm around its strong neck. "You're a hero," he murmured, voice thick with emotion. "Without you, we'd never have found them." The dog licked Mason's face, its body quivering, not from fear, but relief. Snowflakes fell gently, a quiet blessing in the moment. In the stillness that followed, Mason knew one thing for sure. This dog wasn't just a hero, it was a guardian angel. If this tale warmed your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible and heart-touching stories.